Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Adversity Podcast. Today on the show, we have an entrepreneur, the co-owner of Good Weather, a shop that sells the hottest sneakers and streetwear in Toronto, Isiah Weathers. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
First of all, I do got to ask, because we're in the store. Never actually done one of these where I've traveled, but it's actually really fun. How did you stumble upon the name Good Weather for your store? Obviously, your last name, but just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Before I was selling shoes, it wasn't under Good Weather. It was House of Hype 416. And I feel like House of Hype, like, it really didn't have any like meaning to it. And it kind of localized myself when I said 416 as well. So opening the store actually, even like, so before all this, like when I had House of Hype 416, I wasn't selling on Instagram at all. I was just selling on like Kijiji and stuff like that, and like in Discord groups. So when I made Good Weather, like I wanted that to be the actual brand, and I felt like the Good Weather brand I could actually build upon and be like a national brand at that point. Yeah, so that's how I got there.
How did you, like, when did you start getting into shoes? Like, how old were you? How did it all start?
I think I got into shoes pretty young, I want to say. So my whole life I've been running track and field and playing basketball, like really big into sports. I started track and field when I was legit in grade 3, and then started playing basketball when I was in grade 6. I remember legit getting my first good pair of shoes. I guess like stylish shoes, I would say, was grade 5. I got white Air Forces. Yeah. And I got them in like the springtime or whatever. And since then I was hooked onto shoes. Like I would always just look at them, to be honest. And I always knew what I wanted. Like I always wanted Jordans and Air Forces and Nikes and stuff like that. And then also like Reeboks. I was really big into Allen Iverson at the time too.
Okay, it's interesting. Like, it's really cool to like walk outside and see like the different types of shoes, especially like too in the NBA. A lot of the players like when they walk in, they're dressed a certain way. It shows their personality. It shows the shoes. Like for you right now, like there's so much personality in what you're wearing, and it's like that's, to me, the best part about shoes is like,
yeah, that's true. They tell a story at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's always so interesting when shoes drop. Like there's always a story behind every shoe. To me, that's the coolest thing, is like the story and how it was made, where the idea came from, and that sort of thing.
For sure.
I guess I have right here, like, what influenced you to begin liking shoes? You sort of explain that, but like, how did you get into, like, when did you figure out, okay, I want to start, selling, buying?
Oh man, that's a good question. So I think throughout all of university, so that was 8 years now. I started university, I'll say. Well, yeah, never mind. So yeah, I started university probably like in 2012. So longer than 8 years.
Where did you go for university, and what did you study?
I went to the University of Toronto.
Okay.
And I studied political science and human geography, but I actually studied running track and field. So yeah, like I was on the track team there, and at the same time I was still really big into shoes. I would just buy for myself, like buy one pair and wear and stuff like that. And when I got enough money, I actually would buy more than one. I would buy like 3 pairs, sell 2, keep 1, and do the same thing. And if I couldn't sell the 2 pairs, I'll just go back to like Foot Locker and return it. And yeah, I did that like over and over again for years. And then during the pandemic was when I really, really started to like be serious into buying shoes and selling them. I was also really big into, I guess a lot of different hobbies happened during the pandemic, to be honest. I also got into like stocks as well.
Okay.
So I was buying shoes and I was buying stocks. And the way I was seeing it was like legit the same way. Even though shoes and stocks, like stocks you can't really hold or see. shoes you can. So this is like a tangible item that I could wear if I didn't want, wear if I didn't want to sell. And also if I didn't want, I could keep it or whatever. So yeah, it was all around that same time. I joined like a Discord group, and in the Discord group, I there's so many different like channels or whatever. So you could find information on like how to actually get these shoes for retail price, and have a good marketplace on selling it to other people that were bigger in the game too.
Now, how is it to buy them? Like I remember when Yeezys dropped, like when I bought my first pair, my second pair, it was like you'd go on Adidas and you'd get into this line, like virtual line.
Yeah.
And like it would just pull random people through. I know like there's like obviously Foot Locker, Champs, like you can buy shoes from all these sort of outlets, but is it easier? Is it harder to get all of these different types of shoes now? Or does it really depend on the type of shoe too?
It really does depend, yes, and it definitely depends on like there's different strategies on getting these shoes. So like you could either go in store or you could also buy online. During the pandemic, I guess everyone was buying online, and at that time I had a lot of different like bots too. So it wasn't just me. It wasn't just like one person
bots.
clicking. Yeah, I had like many different bots like attacking the same shoe for the many different sizes and stuff. So that's what I was really doing during the pandemic. But now I kind of slowed down on the bots, and I'm back to like in-store buying. So I go around to different like Foot Lockers and stores and buy for retail. And if I don't get it for retail, then I go to my good network of suppliers.
So does it, so I guess like to your network of suppliers, but like when you like go around to all of these different shoe stores, like a Foot Locker or Champs, like, are you like, do you know a lot of people who work at these stores now?
I did before.
You did before?
I did, yeah. Now I don't really have any in-store plugs. If you're out there, I need you. Yeah, but honestly, you do like, I guess at Red Cross Street at Livestock, they know me there pretty well because I'm there pretty often now. And I legit just tell them like straight up, like, yeah, I own a store across the street and I'm a reseller, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it just right across there?
Yeah. They don't really mind it at that point, I guess there's a lot of different resellers, but yeah. At the same time too, like I think I took it to like the furthest extent, like I made it my full-time job, like with the store to buy and sell shoes.
And what is that like? Like, is it when you first were gonna take this jump into getting a place downtown Toronto, and really starting to just like do this as a full-time thing? What were you thinking? Were you scared? Like, I hear a lot of people who start businesses. It's like it's a really big jump. It's a really big. It is a test to see if you can really keep it. But like, what were you feeling like when you did start it? Were you nervous? Were you obviously excited too? Just what were you feeling then?
So at the time, so I'll give you I guess a little backstory as well. So when I did start getting the store, like going through that whole process, I worked insurance before all this.
Okay.
So it was a good paying job, honestly. And I just didn't like it. I knew it wasn't for me. The money at that point, like the money didn't even matter. Like it doesn't matter how much my salary was. I did not like the job at all.
Yeah.
And they couldn't pay me to stay at that point,
Yeah.
My heart wasn't in it. Like there's nothing that they could have gave me like a big raise, and I probably still would have left at that point. Like I wanted to do something on my own and for myself. And I felt like, so I'm 28 now, and I felt like this is like the perfect time if I want to take a big risk. Definitely very nervous. Even today, I'm still nervous. You just gotta know how to handle it,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I guess the day-to-day stuff, I feel like would be like pretty easy to really control, but like I find like I'm not a business owner, but like just in life in general, when you look too far into the future, like there's things that can happen, things that might be scary, and when you just focus on day-to-day things too, it's a lot easier
Yeah.
just mentally.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely do need like your long-term goals, I find, and also your short-term goals. And if you hit your short-term goals long enough, then your long-term goals will come into fruition as well. That's how I feel, you know?
Yeah. What has it been like to like really like run it, like build a brand around your store, like just getting people to come in? How has that all came together?
It's really fun, to be honest. I enjoy it a lot. At my old job, I was working from home, and I wouldn't be able to like see people in real life in IRL. That's how we used to talk all the time, just abbreviation after abbreviation. So now it's like totally different. Like I get to meet new people all the time, you know? Every single day I see someone new, which is good. And it's fun. It's very, very different than what it was before, but I definitely do enjoy it.
How growing a brand, like how has that, I guess, what are the challenges that come along with that?
Man, growing a brand is so hard, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier. I thought as soon as the doors opened, it was gonna be a madhouse in here. I thought there was gonna be like people waiting outside and stuff like that, you know. But like, it's definitely like a slow grind for real. Even just being on different like news outlets and Instagram pages and stuff like that. You just always have to put yourself out there every single day. Honestly, I think every day you got to put yourself in the best opportunity to strive. So, like sitting here with you today, honestly, and just meeting new people, I feel like is yeah what I should be doing. You know?
Yeah. Does that stuff, like for me, like I'm a big, like I get nervous. Like I'm not like I'm more of an introvert. Like I'd rather stay like on my own and do things more on my own than, get a whole big group of people. But like for you, like I remember coming here the first time and you were very welcoming, very, very open, very honest about the shoes and just how friendly you were too. Are you more of like I guess, having a personality of like always wanting to talk to people, always wanting to go out and figure things out? Is that part of you, or is that too part of the business?
I think that's me growing, actually, because me myself, I'm really introverted as well. I'd rather like I during the pandemic, I think that made me very, very introverted. So I want to break out my shell again, you know, and do something totally different, because at the same time I feel like we could always be comfortable in our safe space, but in your comfort zone you don't grow. And if you don't talk to people, again, you don't grow. So I think the more people that I actually interact with and network, even in my store, even like if you come in and I don't talk to you, or I just welcome you and that's it, you know, you're the chances of you buying something is very, very low. So even just getting you to buy, I gotta get to know you, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I was gonna ask, like, you sell shoes, you sell clothing. What type of, I know shoes, like I'm looking right now, like a lot of Nike. I think there is Adidas, Jordans. For clothing, like what is the clothing side of it?
Right now I need to get a lot more streetwear clothes. I have a lot of vintage though. Even before the shoes, I was really big into vintage clothing too. My favorite type of vintage is Chicago Bulls vintage.
Okay, yeah.
Like with Michael Jordan in that era, I'll say. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, all those guys. But really got me into Michael Jordan was actually Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Me and my brother used to play NBA 2K a lot, and Derrick Rose it was Chicago Bulls versus LA Lakers, and he would have like Kobe Bryant and all those guys, and I would have Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls, and Derrick Rose would always hold me down and make me win those games, you know. So that's how I fell in love with the Bulls.
So at that time, Derrick Rose, wasn't that when he was? I'm not.
That was when he was very, very good. Like he was the youngest MVP.
Yeah.
Youngest MVP. He got injured in the playoffs, actually. They were up by he should have been out in the fourth quarter. Like they didn't need him to play. And I believe he tore his Achilles, or he injured his ACL or something like that in his knee. And ever since then, he hasn't really been the same, like the same explosive Derrick Rose that we used to see before when he was the youngest MVP for the NBA at 22 years old. It's probably younger than that, but yeah, let's say 22 right now. But yeah,
Is basketball like? Would you say basketball is your favorite sport then?
it's hard. Yeah, it's either basketball or track and field and running, to be honest. But I'll probably say basketball.
So would you like? Are you a big like? Do you watch? Would you watch track and field too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because like I have a lot of friends that also run too and stuff
true.
like that. So yeah, I would.
So basketball, I find that sport so interesting. I find it like since I'm well versed in hockey, like it's so different. Just the sport in general, the people in the sport too. Like I feel like hockey's a little bit more sheltered in everything. Like it's very like I don't want to say whispery, if that makes sense. Like it's more of a quiet sport. Like if you want to find out something, you're not going to find it out. Maybe it's just because I'm around like just Toronto, and like Toronto is the biggest hockey market in the world.
Oh wow.
So like it's as a journalist, it's harder to get information sometimes, but like basketball is so open.
Yeah.
Is it like what made you fall in love with basketball? Like was it like seeing like Michael Jordan and all that and the Bulls?
No. So even when I started playing basketball, like I didn't even watch it on TV, to be honest. Like it's just my friends, like for real. Like my friends in during recess, they would play basketball, so I had to play basketball too. So that's how I like truly fell in love was just playing it, honestly. And then I started actually watching like the NBA and stuff like that. But before that, no, I wouldn't watch sports. Like I think before I just watched like wrestling and all that. But yeah, I wouldn't watch basketball, no.
So
until I started playing.
So are the Raptors your favorite team, would you say? Or
yeah, the Raptors for sure. Raptors and the Bulls.
what was it like for you to see them win a few years ago?
Crazy experience, honestly. I all those nights, like when they actually did win the championship, I worked my insurance job at the time. Oh man, I was at home for a bit, and then my friend who picked me up, we drove downtown. We got back home at 6 a.m. I had to leave for work at 7 in the morning. I did not sleep a bit. Went into work, I was dead tired.
That was like I told you I had a guy who does photography. He works for MLSE, so I guess he was down there when they won, and he was saying how insane it was. I wish I was going to go down, but I don't know why I didn't go down. But yeah,
it was fun for real. Yeah, my friends were like, they had like TTC buses like on the streets or whatever, and people were climbing the buses and stuff like that, climbing everything.
Yeah, that's insane. But I mean,
it was like the Raptors parade before the Raptors parade, and then after, when the Raptors parade actually did happen. So my office was really close to Scotiabank Theater.
Okay.
And they let us go see the parade, and we're outside for like, we were close to the front of the parade, and we're outside for like 5-6. We missed the whole like work day at that point.
Good day.
Yeah.
That I remember too. I don't know where I was, but I remember sitting there for hours. No,
it was a hot day.
It was a hot day. People were upset that it was taking so long.
Mm-hmm.
There was no data. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, just so much people at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they did not plan it correctly at all.
No, I mean it is kind of hard to plan when you've never
won a championship before. Yeah.
Like I'm interested to see if the Leafs ever win, like what that'll be like.
All of Canada would be down.
That's what I've talked to people, and I'm like, what do you think would be bigger, the Leafs or the Raptors parade? And like the NHL has a number of teams everywhere else, and like the Raptors are Canada's team.
Yeah, that's true.
But people still think the Leafs would be a bigger parade. I
don't know.
I'm pretty split. I don't. Like seeing the Raptors parade, seeing how many people were there, like it was like 5 or 6 people deep, like just standing on the street.
Yeah.
Let alone Nathan Phillips Square, where it was like people were waiting like 2 or 3 days beforehand.
Yeah, before. Yeah, I remember that. People were camping out, legit in tents. Yeah.
That that is just, it's mind boggling. Like it's cool. Like I would never do that though.
It's a bit much at that point. I got things to do, but
but like at the end of the day too, it is cool. Like if you get a front row seat to that, like you're not forgetting that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's a once in a lifetime memory.
But back to shoes. Like I was gonna ask more about like the business side. Like I'm guessing you had an insurance job, but did you have any background in business prior to like really opening this up?
No.
And how did that, like, how difficult was it to like figure out all the business side and really start getting it going?
So I went to the University of YouTube, and I did a lot of research on the University of YouTube, actually. No, on YouTube you can learn anything. So that's where, I can't say that's where I learned all my business from, was YouTube, but no, I think you just got to go through it at the same time. At the end of the day, it's like you got to buy and you got to sell. So you just got to make sure you got enough inventory so it actually does sell, and you got to know what to buy at that point too. So, but even on the back end too, like even just overhead in general. So you got to pay for, like, you got to make sure you have enough for rent, insurance, hydro, what else? Internet and security, I'll say. I think those are like the 5 main things you got to worry for every single month, like your overhead there. And then just make sure you have enough cash flow to actually buy and sell. Mm-hmm. So when people do walk in, you always have something that they would like, honestly.
Yeah. Does it, I feel like this might be a bad question, but does it ever get, this would happen to me. This would personally, in my opinion, like I would be like, does it ever get scary knowing like you have all of these shoes in here and like it's so much money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, honestly. So I had a lot of money in stocks. I cashed out all my stocks and I put it all into shoes. So these are my actual stocks now too. So yeah, it is scary at the end of the day. So and it's scary when things sit, you know, like there's no reason that I have this shoe here, this Drake Nocta Air Force. It should have been sold months ago, honestly. But yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of different like avenues and ways to sell shoes. Like I sell my shoes in store, online, and also like on eBay and stuff like that too. Different stuff like that. So like, let's say 1 month I was actually like worrying about rent. I would just go to StockX at that point and liquidate some of my inventory so I could have some more cash for my overhead.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna ask, like, the ways you sell them. Like I know obviously online and in store, and I guess eBay too. Like, does it? It's not obviously. I'm struggling how to really get this question out. Like, maybe just going off, like, what do you find's the best way? Like, what's? I guess I'd say maybe for you, do you find like selling in stores the best and funnest way?
Yes and no. Yes, because like you get to like really interact with your customers that way. Online, you get actually a better discount than in store. You could do 10% off. I have 10% off coupons always online. Mm-hmm. So if you do that, you could get 10% off, and then you could also do in-store pickup. So that's one tip I'll say.
Plug all you want.
And then eBay was also pretty good. I met with the eBay sneakers team.
Okay.
And they gave me a really good like eBay discount, and like whole like eBay store and stuff like that. So selling on eBay is also really, really good for me too. Mm-hmm. And eBay, like I guess for my website, I have, let's say like 200 to 300 visitors per day, whereas eBay probably has like 2 million at that point visitors per day. Whoa. So I guess just more eyeballs are on your products too and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just finding different like avenues and streams to sell these shoes. Right now, I think my biggest problem is actually getting inventory in. For certain sizes, it's easy, and then certain things, it's actually hard. Like right now, Yeezy slides are a need for the summer, and I probably have like 8 pairs in right now. All the good ones are hard to find, honestly. Like no one wants to sell, or if they do want to sell, they want to sell for like a really high price. So there's no actual room, there's no margin to actually make money if I want to sell for a decent price, honestly. But I think even my whole thing is I want to keep my prices reasonable. I want you to come to my store and actually not feel like you were like hit over the head with these prices, you know?
Yeah.
That's the worst at that point, you know, when you feel like you're kind of bamboozled into buying a pair of shoes rather than like, I got this shoe for a good price and I'm going to actually wear it, you know?
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing, especially like the way things are going these days. Like you want a shoe that's, or for some people, they want a shoe that's like really nice. Like I'm the type of person who like, I would rather spend more money on shoes than the rest of my clothing. That's just, to me, I've just been a big shoe person. But like, it's really good that you're having, oh my God. Like it's really cool that a store like this is like having shoes for like a price that's not too hefty. Like I've gone into some shoe stores and it's just like, you want $500 for these?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm like, and you go on to like some websites too, in like StockX, or I feel like there's another one. Is Flight Club still around?
Yeah, Flight Club, Go. There's a lot of different, I guess,
too.
websites.
And like you see, like they're marginally cheaper on the websites.
Yeah,
but the websites, to me, like I feel like on the websites, like I've seen like for StockX, like there have been cases where it's
fake and all shoe. That. Yeah, that's true.
So that's a scary part. And this is like the nice thing is like when you come into a store like this and you're greeted by someone like you, and it's like,
it's a whole different experience at that point. Yeah,
it is too. And it's like, there's a sense of trust that automatically starts. Like, and that's, I guess, like the biggest thing for you is like getting when those people come in, making them feel welcomed, making them feel like, I guess like
they're a part of good weather at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I did want to ask though, the shoes, in particular, like I remember when like I was buying more of the shoes, like I say buying more, I only bought 2 pairs of Yeezys ever. Like I don't know whether it was on YouTube that I learned this, but when you buy shoes, is it true that once you untie the laces, like the value goes down? Like,
no, that's an urban myth. Eh? It's not. That's not true.
I remember I bought my second pair of Yeezys. I bought the Yeezy, I think the Breads.
Oh, okay. Like that's a really nice pair.
The black ones with the Supply
the red
350.
Writing. Yeah.
And already having belugas, I was thinking about selling them because I remember like they would go for like $1,500. And I was like trying to figure out, do I sell them or do I wear them? And like I remember sitting there in my bedroom with the box and the shoes, and I'm like, if I untie this shoe, there goes $500.
No. You just gotta know how to factory lace.
That's the thing.
You gotta go on YouTube, the University of YouTube, man. It's a good school. So yeah, on YouTube I learned how to like factory lace like all my shoes, because when people still try them on, I still call it brand new. You know, brand new and worn at that point. So you just gotta know how to make it look new. You know.
Yeah.
But even if it's untied, I don't think people really care and stuff like that.
No, that's when I like got into shoes, I was like, why do people like, what does it matter if the laces is not tied that specific way? But I guess like too, like it shows that you might have wore them.
Yeah.
But even
again, like I guess for a shoe that is $1,500, you wouldn't really want to tamper with it.
Yeah.
For some of my shoes, like some of the higher price shoes, yeah, no try on. You gotta buy it, and after you buy it, you could do whatever you want with. But yeah.
Do you have like?
I guess the most expensive pair I have right now is I think I have it at like $1,100 or $1,000. It's Supreme Dunks.
Okay. Are those, which ones are those the ones that are black with the stars?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are those partnered with Supreme, or is that just what they're called?
Yeah, partnered with Supreme.
Okay. Yeah.
Or collaboration with Supreme or whatever. Yeah.
That's cool.
Supreme always has like anything with the name Supreme on it would go for like crazy amounts. Like Supreme even released a brick, and that was reselling.
That's
Yeah.
man. I remember when I was like not really deep into sneakers, but like when I was just like into it a little bit. Like I remember looking at things and I'm like, this is so much money. Like people when you're a hype beast, you're like,
The price doesn't matter. Yeah.
no, it doesn't. Like I was gonna ask you this at the end of the podcast. Like, would you ever get the Nike Air Mags?
Yes, because I actually do like Back to the Future. Like that is actually a really, really good movie. So I would get them if I could afford it. Yeah, I would buy it.
Would you like? There's a YouTuber I watch that's based in the UK, and he has them, but he has them just like framed, like in a box, like with like a clear like box over it, so you can. It's just for show. Would you keep it like that, or would you try and like resell them?
I am not sure, honestly. I definitely wouldn't wear it. It's too much to be on my feet at that point. But
would you try it on once?
Probably not. No.
No. Just to see.
I actually would put it in a case, or I'll give it to like a museum or something, or make my store a museum. If someone wants to buy it, then yeah. But no. Actually, if I have it, I think I would price it to sell for someone to actually wear it, because some of these stores, like you go inside and it honestly feels like a museum. And the prices are museum prices too, because no one could actually, the general consumer can't afford those, But even still, that's like a grail shoe. So the general consumer is not looking for that one, Like they're looking for probably a Panda Dunk, not a Nike Air Mag.
Do you know how many how many of those were made?
I'm not sure actually, but I think there was like 2 releases. I think the first release was more limited than the second one, but in the first release it wasn't auto lacing. In the second release, it laces itself like in the movie, which is pretty cool.
Now, you do have 3 shoes here. I asked you to pick your favorite 3 shoes out. What are your 3 favorite shoes that you have at the store right now?
So this one is the Jordan 3 White Cement. This re-released recently. Michael Jordan actually wore this in like the dunk off and stuff like that. So this one is one of my favorites right now.
Is that number 1 or number 3?
No particular order.
Particular order?
Yeah. Drake is my favorite artist of all time. Air Force is my favorite shoe of all time. You mash those 2 together and you get the Love You Forever Air Force One from Nocta and Drake. Really just clean, classic, all white. I would wear this. I have like 6 all white Air Forces. This might be number 7. I'm not sure yet.
I find like Air Forces are really like, especially all white. I don't know. I love all white shoes.
Same.
It feels nice wearing them, especially like with like when I had those Yeezys, like the Breads. I could never wear them with shorts. It just looked weird having black shoes on. I don't know why, but white shoes.
Yeah.
My parents always said, don't buy white shoes.
Because they get dirty or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I always wanted them. And then when I got them the first time, I was just like, these are
amazing.
Yeah. So
it's crazy that shoes make you feel that way. You put on a pair of shoes, like you were saying, like the black shoes in the summer with shorts didn't feel good, but the white shoes, felt amazing. And it's crazy that like a shoe could have so much like emotion to it too, and stuff like that.
Like I was gonna say too, like the black ones in the winter though.
Yeah.
In all black, like it just looked amazing.
It's a whole different like outfit and look, Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So every like shoe has its season.
Yes, except to me the Breads. No, not the Breads. Sorry, the Belugas. I wore those anywhere and everywhere. Like I bought them $300 retail. They lasted a very long time. Like, wow. And they're like, I was surprised. Like I always thought, like the more money you pay for shoes, like they might not last. Like that's also what my parents said. Like shoes don't last. These shoes lasted me like 4 or 5 years.
Oh wow, that's actually a very long time. I can't lie.
And I would wear them in the snow. I would wear them in the rain, but they've hit their final.
The Yeezy Boost was pretty comfortable though too. Everything about it was comfortable, but like in the snow and rain, I could never wear Yeezys in the snow or rain. Like that is not my cup of tea for sure.
No. What are those ones?
So this is a woman's Nike Dunk. I believe it's called the Easter Dunk. Just like the pastel colors, I really like them, to be honest. Like the pink and the purple with like, I don't even know what to call this, like blue sky, like lavender. I don't even know what it's called, like color. But yeah, I just really like the pastels on this one.
So would you, if you were to, like, are all the shoes out there, are they more of what you like? Like, would you sell like stuff that you like, or would you sell more of like just whatever you can find?
A bit of both, honestly. So what I like, I think, if I like something, I know someone else would like it in a way. But no, I think at that point it's kind of like really subjective too. But like you kind of got to know the trends.
Yes.
Like right now, what's really popular is like Jordan 4, Yeezy slides for the summer, and New Balance is actually on the come up right now for sure. But yeah, you gotta, and Nike Dunks too. Nike Dunks have been on like the number one, like Panda Dunks are like the number one best selling shoe for every sneaker store, I believe, at any price too, at any price. So you could see it being sold for like 500 to 350. 350, I was selling it at 350 for the longest time. And then I recently reduced my price to 280.
It's a good price.
And it sells a lot at 280 too. At any price it sells, to be honest. So
yeah,
I guess even to give myself like a competitive edge, let's lower my price. And now I believe I have like one of the lowest prices in all of Canada at 280 for a Panda Dunk.
That's really good. And how much are they like 120 retail? Or is that
156
US?
After tax.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's still very, very, that's an affordable shoe. At 156,
yeah.
That's an affordable shoe. Even at 280, it's still, I guess it's like double, but at the same time, at least, you're not really, at that point, I know for sure I have probably the cheapest, I know for sure I have the cheapest in Toronto, and then probably the cheapest within Canada as well.
Yeah, like I think I've been in, like I think there's a couple of shoe stores on Queen Street. I don't know their names. I'm not going to name them even if I did, because I feel like the 400, like I think I've seen them for $400.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. Like,
there's a lot of like factory flaws on the Nike Pandas too, actually. So like sometimes the stitching is not right and stuff like that, just little minor things. But like, I guess because they mass produced it so much, not every single pair is correct.
Yeah. I was going to say, would you say they're like when the Yeezys were really big? I don't know if they're still really big, but like would these be like the Ultra Boosts of 10 years ago?
Yeah. Ultra Boost, like NMD Wave and all that. Yeah.
Those were great shoes.
Yeah, they were.
I was going to say, like, even these, like, I don't even know what these are.
Yeah, those are nice. I don't actually.
Okay. Well, I got them at retail. I don't know. I've never really been I actually was never a fan of Nike.
You're more into the
I was into like I grew up playing soccer.
Oh, okay.
So Adidas was
like the Gazelles and those kind of styles and
sweats.
So like the indoor soccer shoe or whatever. Or
just any of that. So like I never watched basketball growing up. I never really knew Nike. Like hockey, I think there was one point where they had like Nike, like jerseys.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like I was never into that. More recently though, like I've just noticed like Nike's, I think, more superior over Adidas.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you like what. There you got Nike, you got Jordan. Are they like kind of
similar
together
and different? Yeah, I'll say so.
So like if you were to rank them, let's do this. If you were to rank Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Reebok,
I'll say New Balance.
New Balance. Sorry.
Yeah.
How, like, if you were to rank those, I don't even know, 4 or 5. Like, how would you say Nike first? Like personally, like in your opinion.
Oh, me
like
personally? Okay, that's a lot easier. I'll probably I would say Nike first, and then Jordan, and then New Balance, and then probably. Oh man, and then Adidas last. Adidas last in my top 4.
That
Like surprisingly, New Balances, they've been comfortable and good for years. But I think a lot of people are getting into them now with like a lot of the new silhouettes. Like there's one, I have 2 pairs of like the New Balance 990. That's like the traditional dad shoe, I want to say. And then there's also like the New Balance like 550 and then the 2002R. Those are like the new styles that like are really carrying New Balance right now. And then there's also like a lot of good collabs with New Balance too.
are you a big fan of the Dunks? Like, do you have?
Me personally, I actually don't own one pair of
No?
Dunks for myself in my collection. No,
Why not?
I just haven't. I was going to buy a pair for myself, but never really got around to it. If I'm gonna wear a low top sneaker, I think it's gonna be an Air Force instead of a Dunk.
They look very similar.
Yeah, they're similar but different. Like, I think I probably did own a Dunk in middle school, I want to say. But yeah, ever in my adulthood, no.
Do you like the lower Dunk or the higher one?
The low Dunk for sure.
The low?
It looks a lot cleaner than the high Dunk.
I find that maybe it might be just because the sizing's wrong, but for me, like the lower Dunks are comfier than Air Force Ones. I find the Air Force Ones are really heavy,
Yeah, that's true.
and maybe
You got to go down like half a size or maybe even a full size for the Air Force.
and I think because I've been Adidas for so long,
Yeah, you're
Adidas
used to like
has a very light,
comfortable shoe. Yeah.
like I have Ultra Boosts that I've had, I think since I went to Ireland in like 2016,
Oh wow.
and like they're the night like they're my favorite shoe because they're comfy, but that's really it. They're just
Comfy.
It's a comfy shoe, and like Nike, like these ones, like the low Dunks, I find are the comfiest, at least that I've worn.
For me, an Air Force is like, I don't even have a love-hate relationship. I just have a love relationship with Air Forces, you know? And I went from buying like my true to size, a size 11. So the first summer I got them, I got a size 11 and they were way too big. They were like flopping off my feet. They were big and heavy at that point. So then a few weeks later, I got the 10.5. 10.5 fit nicely. And I didn't really have to lace it or whatever. And it just like fit. And then I was like, let me get a 10. And the 10 with like, I wouldn't lace it at all. Like it was really like, really loose, I want to say. And it just fit, like it was just so tight and snug that I always went with the 10 after that. And sometimes the 10.5. But yeah, definitely not size 11. If you go true to size, it just looks way too big and it's a big shoe at the end of the day. Yeah.
What are your, I guess, what would be your top 3 shoes that you'd want? Like if you were to, like shoes that you don't have, like if you were to sit here and, this might be a difficult question.
For my personal collection or?
Yeah. Like what would be your top 3 shoes that you would want to get next?
So I sold a lot of the Jordan 1 Lost and Founds. That was like, it was a Reimagine collab or whatever. It came out like last year, I want to say. That's on my list to get for myself, for personal. I think that's the only shoe I actually really want, honestly.
Are you a big fan of Off-White? Like
Yeah.
Nike and Off-White?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And then Off-White Air Forces in all black, and then the Off-White I'll say Off-White Air Force Presto, but the Off-White Presto in black as well. Okay. One of my friends, his name is Chris. He has like 77 pairs of shoes in this collection. He's like a true collector. Me and him would like go line up together. I'm buying to sell, and he's buying to just put in his collection. So yeah, like it's just different at that point. So yeah, he has the Lost and Founds. He also has the Off-White Air Forces. He has the Off-White Prestos. All the 3 shoes I mentioned, yeah, and like a bunch more.
That's insane. That's really cool. Like to have a shoe collection that big.
Yeah, 77 pairs. He knows exactly how much pairs he has too. He probably has more at this point. That was like a few weeks ago when he had 77.
What do you do with like? What do you do with that many pairs? Like
you just gotta.
It's like one for almost like you could. It's like
one for 2-3 months at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you could switch shoes. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this to make sense. Like 77, it would be like 4 days a year where you can wear the same shoe.
Oh,
And
wow.
it would rotate, I
Wow.
think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you did the math on it, man. So I guess it does.
I don't know. But yeah, like the shoe, those are like, again, 77, that's a lot. I could never imagine. Do they have off-white Nike Dunks or no?
Yeah, they do. It's called, they have a lot actually. So the first one, it was like a university pack, I want to say. So they had like Michigan State, UNLV, and stuff like that. And they just had they had like a secondary lace on it too that was pretty funky. And then they had like, I can't remember what they actually called it, but I'm going to call it the 50 pack. So they had legit 50 pairs of Nike Dunks. And all of them were slightly different, but all of them like were very, very similar at the same time. Number 50 was a black pair, and number 1 was also a white pair. And all the rest were also white, I want to say. But the white pair, number 1, was just a little bit different than the other ones too.
That's really cool. Like to change them like that.
Yeah.
And they probably go for more money than the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big like I like Off-White. I don't know why. I find it's very just fascinating the way it's like marketed.
Yeah, it's a very cool brand, honestly. I have a jacket, a varsity jacket from Off-White. If I didn't I could have bought like 5 or 6 other varsity jackets like for the same price as that one Off-White jacket. So, oh man, that's probably one of my biggest purchases ever. I don't think I'll buy, actually no, I can't say I don't think I'll buy anything that expensive again, but like at that time I was feeling good, I guess. I went down to Vancouver for SneakerCon. So, and I think that day I sold like 10 to like 15K worth of sneakers, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a decent trip. That actually gave me the confidence to even open the store.
Like
SneakerCon, yeah. That proved that I could do this, you know?
yeah.
So that was in March, SneakerCon Vancouver. And then from March, I opened the store August.
Wow, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But it's, I guess like too, once you like really have a plan in mind, you really just want to start doing it.
Yeah.
Like I found with this podcast, like I'm a person who hates surprises, like keeping things secret, especially like a podcast. So like I had I think 3 pre-recorded before I announced that I was doing a podcast.
Oh, nice.
And I did not like that. Like I just wanted to do it all at once and like just start it. So like going from March to August.
It is pretty quick, but like in the grand scheme of things, I think I always known that I wanted to open a store, and I knew for sure I didn't like my job. So like that was my escape plan. Like opening the store was my escape plan from my 9 to 5.
And when you look at this store, like what do you hope for it to be like down the road? Like 2-3 years maybe?
I definitely see like more locations. I want it to be like a national brand, you know? I want you to go to like, I'm not too sure if every major mall or maybe like every major city, there's like a Good Weather there. And you could go there and you could get like vintage clothing, any sneaker that you want, streetwear. There's a room like this so you could like film a podcast, film some content as well. And just feel at home, feel like you're welcome there, you know?
Yeah, that's such an interesting like business plan. I could never have thought that like that's a really good idea to have like a room like this to like partner with people.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea too?
Honestly, so I wasn't even me. I don't care to be in front of the camera, but I feel like I have a story to tell and I want to tell it at the same time, you know? I think everyone legit has a story to tell. So I think even me sitting here today is going to inspire someone else to tell their story. And so I just had the space, and I think the best use of it was to actually like film content with it. And it's kind of like divided away from the store. So it's not really in the way at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Before all this, this was actually an old dental office. So I think this is where they had like,
Oh, the patients.
yeah, I think.
One of the last questions I was gonna ask, I did want to talk about your podcast because that's the last thing that I think I had. Just talk about that a little bit. What are you talking about on podcast, and what is it going to be about?
Oh yeah, so the podcast. So the podcast is called the Sneaker Forecast. So it goes along with the name Good Weather in a way. We talk about, I guess, sneakers, streetwear, Raptor fits, I guess like clothes, outfits worn by athletes in Toronto and stuff like that. And a lot of Drake and stuff too. I think you want to kind of localize it to Toronto and localize it to Toronto and also talk about sneakers as well.
Is your goal to have Drake on one day?
Yes and no. I guess no because I don't. Yeah, it is.
You gotta be confident.
Yeah, Drake is definitely gonna pop in one day.
That's when he comes in. I'm gonna send you this video. And
okay, yeah, I definitely need that footage, and I'll show him for sure.
But yeah, I think that's all I got. Thank you. I want to thank you for letting me come and record this with you.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was a pleasure. It was my pleasure.
I remember coming in, and again, like I think we were in here. I came in here once with my girlfriend and my dog, and then I came in again all by myself, and I think we stood and talked for like maybe an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
And like it's cool to like to have that, you know, you relate in some ways. So that was like the cool thing, and that's what made me want to come back and interview you, because it's a fascinating thing to me, like shoes, and like why not talk to you about how you got here and like just the journey behind like selling shoes.
Man, thank you. Yeah, and even like that conversation that we had, it was like you were saying you want to start a podcast, I was saying I want to start a podcast, and we kind of just like manifested this podcast today. Yeah.
So now we're back doing the podcast. So before we end off, you can plug wherever you want, by all means.
So my store is called Good Weather. It's at 123 Spadina Avenue, right across the street from Livestock, right above the Pizzaiolo. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Shop Good Weather. Go to our website at shopgoodweather.com. And yeah, the podcast is called The Sneaker Forecast.
You know what? I do want to say the best part of working here, if I worked here, would be the pizza place below.
Believe it or not, it's not. The smell of pizza after a while starts to smell disgusting. I smell it every day.
I think I remember when I came in here last time, you did get pizza for free. Do you get pizza for free?
My guy's not there no more, so I don't know.
Anyways, thank you so much to everyone who's watching. If you want to follow the podcast, it's at The Adversity Pod anywhere on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and then The Adversity Podcast wherever you get your podcast. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks again for coming on, Isiah. Person creates journey. The journey creates person. See you in the next episode.
Boom.